Okay, welcome in, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. And we had some technical difficulties earlier, but hopefully Frankie can find me and we're going to get started and we're going to talk about insulin resistant and cortisol level. So today, by the end of this live, you're going to know what the reason you have the stubborn belly fat, dealing with the high cortisol levels. You're going to know more about insulin resistance. You're going to know about a solution. You're going to know how to actually make it. Let's see. Are in there, and maybe that actually went through this time. So before we start, tell me where you're watching from. I'm in Alabama. My name is Delana, and I thank you for joining my live. And if you're struggling with different things,
I'm
about insulin resistance, then please stay tuned. I'm gonna go into a little bit of detail about Frankie. This is my friend from California, and she is amazing. Let me tell you, this is her anniversary of her accident, and where she was dealing with high cortisol, and it also increased had her type 2 diabetes. It made her have type 2 diabetes. Hi, Tanya. Thank you for watching. Insulin
Hey,
resistant
welcome
and
in.
cortisol is a condition where the cells don't respond properly to the hormone insulin, leading to high blood sugar levels. And it's a stress hormone that can contribute to the insulin resistance. What it does is it increases the glucose production. It stimulates the liver to produce more glucose. It raises the blood sugar. It reduces the insulin secretion. So cortisol can suppress the release of insulin in the pancreas, making it harder for your body to control your blood sugar. It can impair your insulin signaling. It can interfere with the body's ability to use the insulin efficiently, making cells less responsive to the effects. It also can increase the fat storage. Cortisol can promote fat storage, which can lead to weight gain, obesity, both which is a risk of developing insulin resistance. And the effects on your health, you deal with high cortisol levels like type 2 diabetes, which Frankie had, heart disease, which run in my family, metabolic syndrome, a weakened immune system, and sleep disturbances. So I'm going to bring Frankie in. And Frankie, thank you for joining me. Tell me, what were you struggling with?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for having me. This is like amazing. This is my 3-year anniversary being on the protocol. And I'll tell you like how I came to find it, because it's not like most people. Like most people, when they find out that they have diabetes or they're struggling with like high blood sugars, most times we're saying and talking about that it has to do with our lifestyle and the way that we eat. But for me, that was like completely like opposite to what you normally do. And my mom had struggled with diabetes. And so, I was really trying to not, end up like that, getting all those symptoms. But after a crazy car accident that I had, I started noticing some of the symptoms that you were talking about. I started having like really painful hands and feet, even though I didn't have broken bones there. I had blurred vision. I even went to the eye doctor. I just felt sick. I didn't feel good. I sometimes just felt like clammy or putrid, and I'm thinking, what is going on? And I did start losing some of my hair, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to the doctor because I don't know what this is. I'd been broken in half by the seatbelt. So I had broken pelvic, broken pubic, broken hip, torn hip, all like, clavicle, broken bones, right? So, but
Wow.
the things that I was complaining about that drove me to the doctor was not those things. Like something else is going on here. So when I went to the doctor, she was like, "Well, let's test your blood sugar while you're here in the office." I said, "Okay." It was almost 400. Now, if you know anything about A1C and blood sugar numbers, they want you to be about 100, or lower, right? Give or take. And here I was close to 400, and I was like scared. I was like, what? I'm like, how could that be? Right? She's like, well, we're going to have to get a full blood panel on you, and you're going to have to come back. So I said, okay, let me do that. And so I came back the following week, and she said, yeah, the reason why you have all of those symptoms is because you have diabetes.
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, how could that be? She's like, you're gonna have to start, cutting out the carbs, the sugars, the sweets. And I'm like, I don't eat like that, and she's like, well, you're gonna have to start taking insulin injections. And I was like, no way, because I'm really scared of that. And I can't even do like the whole needles holding them. The whole thought of that, I came home crying. And if anybody, has ever been diagnosed with, pre-diabetes or diabetes or have to take insulin injections, you know that fear. It was really scary for me. And for me, I felt like, well, that's the beginning of the end. I watched my mom, go from metformin up and up and up. I'm like, Mommy, this doesn't work. If it worked, they wouldn't keep upping. And now I know it really doesn't work because now you're taking injections. And so I'm like, and that to me, like I just saw her decline. So I was like, I can't do that. I came home and just literally went down the rabbit hole. I started reading all kinds of books. Those books on your shelf with Dr. Bickman and why we get sick. Why I got sick, which was not told by my doctor. But most times people tell us that stress is the thing that's not good for your health. But what are the details of that? Like, how does that affect us? Like, yeah, we're in the fight or flight. Yeah, we have that. Okay. But what I realized and what I learned by reading, like, Fast Like a Girl, Life in the Fasting Lane, Fiber Fueled, like I've read so many books, like being laid out in the bed, is that just like you said, most times we spike our insulin and overstimulate our insulin by what we eat and how frequently we eat. But for me, it was different. It was the stress. I necessarily wasn't stressed out, but my body was under a lot of stress. And when your body is in stress, whether it's you've got a broken heart or you've got a broken bone, right? Your body is in fight or flight, releasing cortisol, which is a hormone. Well, if cortisol goes high, insulin's going to go even higher to drive that down. Well, that's exactly what was happening to me. In a matter of like 2 months after my car accident, I had full signs of like insulin resistance. I had the blurred vision. Turned out that that pain in my hands and my feet was neuropathy. I had
Yes.
neuropathy in my hands and feet. PCOS. I started to lose the hair, like that female balding. And so these were things that, and I even had little spots of psoriasis. And I was like, I never had that. Like, what is all this? Like, all I did was get into a car accident. No, no, cortisol was very high in chronic pain. And so, how the system helped me, I came home, I saw it just like everybody else online. And I ordered it. I took it to my doctor. I'm like, look, they claim that there's a 90-day money back guarantee. It's all plant-based and it's in your physician desk reference, right where you look up all your prescriptions. So let's look it up. And I brought my phone in and we looked at, she goes, looks good to me. It looks like a bunch of fiber, which is good for you. I'm all for that. Fasting, like intermittent, eating, monitoring when you eat and Unamate. It's all good. Like, let's see. Like, I go, can I come back like in 60 days? Because I want to see before the time's up, what it's like. Girl, that the first week, oh my gosh, I went from like those 400s into the 300s in the blood sugars just the first week. Second week,
Wow.
I was at the 300s into the 200s. The third week, two into the 100s. The first month, it stabilized my blood sugar. And I was like, you know what? As long and I thought, like, and for anybody watching that doesn't know, the drinks taste amazing. I was like, I'm going to choke this down. I'm telling you. But then rather than stick myself with a needle because I'm not the one, like I can't do it. So turns out that the drinks taste amazing. It's the three easiest things I've had to do in a day. And I went back, in 60 days and 2 months, and she says, okay, well, here's what you got. Your A1C, it was at a 9, 8.9. Let's call it a 9. It was at a 9 and it was down to a 6.7. I was like, it's working. I'm like, okay, I was gonna keep doing it. She goes, but not only that, you lost 20 pounds. I was like, 20 pounds? Like what? Where? And I was like, you know what? Everybody had said, you know what, you gotta work out, you gotta do all this, right? Count calories, count this and all that. I didn't do any of that. I was laid out, broken in the bed. I didn't do any exercise and lost the 20 pounds. I'm like, listen, I'll take it.
It
I'm not mad at it. Right?
Yes, I'm so excited for you. Frankie, you talked a little bit about how the cortisol levels are increased in the flight or fight or
Yes.
flight stress. And when we think about our insulin and we think about what it does, it affects your body. When you start off eating at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're
Yes.
spiking your glucose. Well, that sends your pancreas a signal that says, "Hey, insulin, I need you to go out to the liver and I need you to do its job." So you got
Right.
the insulin up because you started eating, but you're stressing. Look at that orange line right in the middle here.
That's right.
You're stressing. So that cortisol level is also rising as it should be going down during the day, but and rise
Yes.
at night. But instead, it's doing the opposite. It's staying up with the insulin because we're eating every 2 hours. Every two
That's
hours,
right.
we're constantly eating. That also keeps our glucose elevated. But when it comes down and crash, you get hangry and not in a good
Oh yeah.
mood. And then also you keep your insulin chronically elevated, which when you're stressing like Frankie was in the bed for that long because she had an auto accident that debilitated her. So she's continually keeping her stress levels. So ladies, or gentlemen, if you're dealing with stress, guess
Yes.
what? You are keeping your insulin elevated at a chronically high condition. Viewers, if you're watching this and you know somebody that's dealing with cortisol
Stress.
levels, stress
Yeah.
levels. That's a stress hormone. And if you know somebody that's have diabetes, you know somebody that's dealing with stubborn belly fat that won't go away. These are signs of insulin resistance that's been around for years.
Yes.
You just haven't been educated about it, and that's why we get on these lives. So, Frankie, you said some of the things about what you noticed, but tell me about your energy level. How is that now?
Well, I'll tell you, if I'm honest with you, I was pretty depressed because, like, in a matter of just like overnight, my freedom had been taken from me. Like, I couldn't get out of bed by myself. I couldn't fix, I was down. Unimate will just like zip you right up. You're like, zing. I had more energy. I had more focus. I definitely had more stamina to just be more upright and focused because if you have chronic pain, you know how debilitating chronic pain is and how you can't focus, you can't be consistent on much. Unimate for days, definitely energy off the charts. I would say lifting the depression. And many people I know have said that they've come off the depression medication by, doing this system. Because, a happy gut is, you know, happy mood, happy mind. And so,
So true.
yeah.
I want to show you what Frankie looked
Oh
like
gosh, yeah.
as do you mind if I share your
No,
photo?
show it. No, I've lost about
Because
90
I want
pounds.
everyone to know how far that you've come. I mean, she
Yes.
is beautiful. Let me just tell you. She was beautiful
Look
either
at that.
way, but the depression that set up dealing with the cortisol level and the stress of the wreck. You think about
Yep.
managing your stress. How can you manage your stress when you're thinking about what just happened? Then you went to the doctor and you got a diagnosis of diabetes.
Yep.
Well, you can't sleep, your stress levels are high. That means your cortisol levels are elevated,
That's
and
right.
you know her glucose is just continuing to produce more and more, which is raising her blood sugar to the 400 areas where they were. So that's why I wanted to talk about cortisol and insulin
Well,
resistance because
and the
it's
other
a
thing
big
I didn't
thing.
tou the other thing I didn't touch on was like the weight. Even though Feel Great system is amazing, right? And the side effect is that you do lose weight. Thank you. You do lose weight. I lost 30 pounds the first 3 months, 10 pounds each month. And to me, it wasn't so much about the weight. That's the benefits of it. And but in the holidays, by the way, and the holidays are coming up. So if you'd like to lose some weight during the holidays, this is the trick. But the thing about the cortisol is a hormone, right? Insulin is also a hormone. And so when you keep stimulating insulin, insulin is a fat storing hormone. So what I've struggled with over the years is when like I go to physical therapy, cortisol gets spiked up because I'm in pain from what goes on, right? But then, I got to get it back down. Well, I've stayed or plateaued at a weight because the insulin keeps getting overstimulated. So who's watching may be struggling with losing weight. Like no matter what I do, I'm fasting, I'm eating all the right things. It's the cortisol. People, not even if you just had an injury, but what if you had a surgery? Right? If you've had surgery and and you've got stitched up and you're laid out, that and you have physical therapy, these are all things that get your cortisol spiked up as well as being broken, right? So I know like a lot of us, kind of suffer in silence, if you will, right? And we notice that these things are stacking up, and you start to feel like nothing I do, I can lose weight. Now, I'm doing everything right and nothing works. Check your cortisol levels. That's a real thing. I wish that I had learned way earlier. But thanks to the system, it has totally helped me manage my blood sugar and this
And
cortisol.
what Frankie's talking about when she's talking about the system, she's talking about uh, two products and one practice. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Here's the
Yeah.
system that Frankie and I do every day: two Unimates, two and one balance. I do two balance, but this is about this product and what it does. You know, when you talk about diet and exercise, and but this is the thing, it's not a diet, it's a
Right. It's
lifestyle
lifestyle.
change.
Yeah.
And when you think about what this product, just this one product, does for you, I mean, improves your blood pressure. It quiets the food noise. It's a natural GLP-1. It enhances your own natural GLP-1, which is a glucagon-like peptide 1 already in your body. It's already there. It's just been suppressed by the food that we're eating.
Anti-inflammatory. Yep.
Yes, it's been suppressed. It increases your ketones up to 75%. Your fat burning. So you think of
Hmm.
what fuel system are you burning? This is increasing your fat burning. So while I'm sitting here, I haven't eaten this morning.
Right.
So I'm burning my fat for fuel.
Me
And
too.
exactly. And you know, with the time-based eating pattern, if you think about the fasting benefits, just try 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning, 12 hours, what that does, the energy that it provides, the mood that increases. But if you can't go any farther than that, then you need something that helps stimulate that.
These tools are
Exactly.
amazing for that. Yes.
These tools have been amazing. It boosts your mood, it provides energy, also enhances digestion, not to the a point of bloating or anything like that. It is natural. It has saponins in it. It acts as a vasodilator, which a lot of you are taking to relax the blood pressure, relax the blood vessels, so your blood pressure will stay lower, keeping your lipid levels lower. It has acts as a vasodilator, actually helping the airway. A lot of people deal with COPD, asthma, things like
Oh
that.
yeah,
This
for
acts as
sure.
that, and it helps redo that. She talked about depression and anxiety. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, let me tell you, it boosts your mood. I noticed that in 4 days. Frankie, you
Yes.
were laying in the
First
bed
week. Yeah.
debilitated.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well,
So
it has adaptogens. Adaptogens help your body to adapt to the stress, to the fight or flight, or what's going on with you. And if you're just kind of sipping on that all the time that you're not eating, you're getting all those benefits. I mean, yerba mate, I mean, the whole plant is medicinal. It's got more
exactly,
vitamins than a multivitamin in a natural way. I love it. And it
exactly.
tastes great.
It tastes great. And a lot of people deal with inflammation. That's where you see the puffiness in the face and that
Yep.
cortisol and the pain of
Yes.
debilitating, not being able to function and not being able to move. This is an anti-inflammatory. I was
Yes.
getting joint injections in my C4, 5, and 6. No longer.
Yeah,
So,
no
you
more
know,
neuropathy. Gone.
no, see, the burning in our hand and feet
The
are gone.
neuropathy
So,
went in 2 months. I had such bad neuropathy in my feet. I put them in ice. I bought a massager. I mean, I put the massage gun on it and be just like, seriously, neuropathy gone in 2 months. I was like, oh, what? I thought I was stuck with this for life. Yeah.
exactly. And a lot of people don't understand what that burning and that tingling sensation is in your
Mm-hmm.
feet and hand. That's neuropathy. And a lot of people don't ask their doctor about that. But these
Right.
are the only nutraceuticals that are found in the PDR. They've been clinically tested and studied by Sydney University, Brigham Young University, UNLV, Stanford University,
Right, yeah.
all of those. So, Frankie, would you like to talk about the second part of the protocol?
Yes, I absolutely love that one. They say take it with your most carbiest meal, but I actually like to break my fast with that fiber. Fiber is what the human being thrives off of. They say that we need 25 to 35 grams of fiber, right? For digestion, for your body. It helps your whole gut microbiome. It's like an ecosystem in our gut, and that ecosystem eats fiber. And I know that right now we have a fiber deficiency going on, not just in the United States, but globally, that the food that we eat doesn't have enough fiber. Every carbohydrate in nature is encased buy fiber. And if you look at your food, and I encourage you, if you go to your kitchen right now, look at your cupboards, look at your refrigerator, look at the foods that you eat and see how much fiber is actually in your food. This
Yes,
is the easiest way that you can get fiber into your diet. And I have to say, I'm stressed that these drinks taste so good. One of them tastes like lemon, mate, that one tastes like Arnold Palmer, right? Like an iced tea with lemon. The berry one tastes like a berry ice cream, and orange sickle for the orange one. And that's the easiest thing that I was doing laid out, right? Orange. Yes. So simply drink these three drinks every day. So what you do is you start before your meal, you have a balance. I like to drink a balance with every meal. But it's up to you. I think the more fiber, the better. Our ancestors used to get 100 grams. So if you drink two of these a day, rock on, right?
exactly.
So this is going to help carb your glucose, carbs, and cholesterol. So when your insulin spikes, so it's helping to bring my own insulin levels down on a daily, and I saw them radically change within that first month. So consistency is key, right? We
Definitely.
say, give Delana 90 days to help you, coach you, and support you through this, because yes, we're like, I was like, what do I got to lose but these symptoms, right? 90 days, money back guarantee. Now, I would say for under $500, I got rid of diabetes, neuropathy, blurred vision, PCOS, psoriasis, right? Oh, fatty liver. And I lost 30 pounds in the first 90 days. So I don't want my money back.
Exactly.
I don't want those symptoms back.
So
Yeah.
true. I mean, you feel like you're broken, right?
Oh, yeah.
You felt like that was the worst time in your life.
Yep.
And somebody else may be feeling the same way. You may have been praying for a solution that you
Yes.
didn't know that was a natural one, that is out there,
Yes.
that it's beneficial, that it can help you. Uh, but guess what? When I discovered it, I felt the same way Frankie did. I felt broken. So if you know anybody or if you're watching the replay, please share it. Let them know
Yes.
Frankie and I can help you. We're glad to tell you more information about cortisol levels, how you can reduce your stress levels. Guess what?
Right.
That reduce your glucose spikes. That reduce your,
Yes.
it actually reverses type 2 diabetes. A lot of people don't realize that conditions of chronic disorder are reversible if they're
Yes.
non-contagious. And
Yes.
so heart disease, blood pressure problems, um, strokes, things like that, you
That's
get
right.
better. You get better.
Yeah. Control
Obesity,
that insulin. When you control your
exactly.
insulin, you
Controlling the
control your
insulin is
life.
the deal. And again, it's in the physician's desk reference. Ask your doctor about it. If you want better sleep
Oh,
and
yeah.
you want to reduce your cortisol levels,
First week. Yep.
exactly. And give you some more tips. Exercise, walk 10 minutes after you eat, enhance your
Yep.
digestion.
Absolutely.
And also look in the PDR yourself about some of the medications that you're taking, because some
Yep.
of the medications that are prescribed can block your cortisol production.
Yes.
Or, that way you can improve your insulin sensitivity.
Hmm.
Tanya says she struggled 13 years with insulin resistance diagnosis and all the symptoms before finding this protocol, finding these tools.
Wow.
So let me tell you,
13 years.
cortisol can play a role in insulin resistance by increasing uh, the chances of the glucose production, reducing your insulin secretion, impairing your insulin signaling, promoting fat storage. Chronic stress and high cortisol levels, guess what? Can be managed with the
Yeah.
right tools that won't have you leading to type 2 diabetes,
That's
that
right.
will improve your insulin sensitivity. So if you're dealing some more signs just before we get off here, constant cravings, that stubborn
Hmm.
belly fat, skin tags, that's the number one thing when you go in the grocery store
Yes.
or go to out in any public area. I see that Frankie talked about the female
Fatty
balding.
liver.
Well,
Yeah.
what about the male balding?
Yes. Or man boobs.
And man boobs, exactly.
Yes. That
And you
hormones
talked
are
about,
off.
exactly. You talked about psoriasis, which is another
Oh,
sign of insulin resistance.
yes.
Your body is actually talking to you. And that's why I get on these lives. That's why I help you.
Yes.
It's not about making any money. It's about giving you longevity.
Yes.
That's what life is about. Frankie, I appreciate you coming on, telling your testimony, and happy anniversary. I mean, this
Thank
is a
you.
milestone here. And
Absolutely.
I
I'm a
mean,
lifer.
again,
I mean,
I
people
want
ask
to,
like, well, how long do you have to do this for, right? And so for me, I'm just saying, well, hey, if you went to the gym and you met your goal, do you quit just because you met your goal? No, you maintain. So for me, like
exactly.
these are all natural, plant-based. We need fiber, we need this tea. I mean, I'm on it for life. I feel so good and it's maintained all of those symptoms, my blood sugar for the past 3 years. And effortlessly manage my weight. So I'm a
Oh,
lifer. You got me.
yeah, exactly. And Tanya talked about the large hard stomach, which is visceral belly
Yes,
fat. Her husband is gone now. That is her husband is all gone, and that was dangerous. That's
that's right.
the visceral fat that's around the organs. I
That's the
mean,
dangerous fat. The
it's some
jiggly
dangerous
stuff,
fat.
not so much, but if it's feeling hard on the outside, most times that's what we've got in our liver, in and around the organs, that visceral fat. And this protocol, I'm telling you, within 2 months, I kicked I had just a little bit of fatty liver left and it kicked it. So if you're
Wow.
struggling with that, that's one to go for sure.
Exactly. And Tanya said this could be the difference, but for the person before the holidays. Exactly. So the holidays are coming up. I didn't gain a pound during the holidays, but it's not about the weight loss. It's about keeping your insulin low. So that's the
Right.
main. That's the root cause, and that's what. If you have chronic health problems, you need to address the root cause. Go and ask your doctor about how to measure your insulin. You can measure it at home a couple of different ways, and I want to tell you that really quick before we get off here. Get a measuring tape. Measure your waist circumference by your
Yep.
height. So I'm 63 inches tall, but I was 43 inches round. So there you go. That was one sign that I was insulin resistant.
Yeah.
The HOMA IR test. Go back and ask your doctor about that. Fasting insulin test. And they'll tell you, well, that's going to be a little bit pricey, but how much is their health worth? So you want to know these answers.
Yes.
Also, another way is your triglycerides and your HDL. If you have a low triglyceride and a high triglyceride and a low HDL, guess what? That's a cardiac event waiting to happen. So you
Mm,
take your triglycerides, divide them by your HDL, which is your good cholesterol. We're talking about the lipid profile that normally you get done every 6 months. And if it's greater than 1.5%, guess what? You're on the road to insulin resistance. So think about these things. You are your own health advocate. You have to take these things
yes.
to the doctor and make them aware. But again, we have a natural protocol that you take right along with your medicine, and your doctor gets to actually take you off, not band-aiding the situation any longer or masking the situation. You actually can
That's right.
uh, reverse the situations. So if anybody have any questions, please get with me, get with Frankie. We would love to help
Yes.
you, love to coach you. You know, it's
We're here to
it's
support you guys.
longevity.
Yeah, on the health journey for sure.
Exactly. Frankie,
Thank
do you have
you.
anything that you would like to add before we get off here?
No, that's what everything I've got for sure. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Frankie. I appreciate you. I
Bye
love
bye.
you. Bye
Love ya.
bye.
Bye.